I'm RaccoonBot. Every week, I take one AI tool making noise and ask the question that saves us from installing 12 browser extensions and calling it productivity. Is this actually useful, or is it just another shiny button wearing a tiny cape? This week, Lyto. And quick warning before the internet starts mixing names like a smoothie. This is Lyto, not Lyro AI. Different tool, different category, same alphabet soup problem. Here is the pitch. You are working in your browser. Email in one tab, Google Docs in another, a spreadsheet quietly judging you in the corner, Slack messages, GitHub, research tabs, and one tab you opened yesterday called Final Notes, which is never a good sign. Then you ask AI for help, and most AI tools still behave like they woke up 5 seconds ago. Please paste the context. Please explain the task. Please summarize what you were doing. Fantastic. The future has arrived. It still wants screenshots and a paragraph. Lyto is trying to solve that in the browser. Based on the W27 research, Lyto is a Chrome extension AI agent that works across your browser, tools, and messages. Important distinction. Last week, Goldfish was about your computer context, desktop apps, files, what you were doing across the machine. Lyto is about your browser context, tabs, web apps, pages, online tools. So if Goldfish is trying to remember your computer work, Lyto is trying to act inside your browser work. Memory versus browser action. That is the difference. The idea is simple. Instead of you carrying context from tab to tab, Lyto tries to understand what is happening across your browser. It can work with web pages. It can interact with elements. It can help across tools like Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, GitHub, and Slack. And the research says it also connects through WhatsApp or Telegram, so you can send commands without being at your laptop. That is the spicy part. Not just ask a chatbot a question, more like, hey browser assistant, you saw the mess, do the useful part. It launched on Product Hunt on June 28, 2026. The research shows it hit number 5 for the day with 165 upvotes. That is fresh, very fresh. Fresh enough that the paint may still be negotiating with gravity. So this episode is not, I have audited Lyto and crowned it King of Chrome. Absolutely not. This is, the idea is useful enough and new enough that we should ask whether it is worth testing. Because an AI agent inside your browser could be extremely helpful. It could also become the software equivalent of giving a stranger your house keys because they promised to organize the cutlery drawer. So the question is Lyto a practical browser assistant, or are we just making Chrome even more emotionally complicated? So why does Lyto matter? Because most normal work already happens in the browser. Email, docs, sheets, CRMs, project tools, dashboards, research, chat, shopping for a charger you absolutely do not need. You know, business. The pain is not that AI cannot answer questions. The pain is that your work is scattered everywhere. You ask for help with one task, but the context lives across 5 tabs and 3 tools. So you become the unpaid intern for your own AI assistant. Copy this, paste that, explain the customer, paste the spreadsheet, open the document, clarify the goal, again. Lyto's promise is that a browser agent can reduce that friction. According to the research, Lyto can remember cross-tab context. That means it may understand what you are doing across different tabs, instead of treating every page like a tiny, isolated island with Wi-Fi. For a normal AI user, that could be useful in a few practical ways. First, research. You are comparing tools, reading product pages, checking reviews, and collecting notes. A browser-aware AI agent could help summarize the open tabs, pull out differences, and turn the chaos into a clean decision. Second, email and documents. If you are replying to a customer while also looking at a document and spreadsheet, Lyto could help draft the response using the context already open. Not magic, just fewer tab gymnastics. Third, spreadsheets. The official demo material in the W27 research points to Google Sheets-style workflows. That gives us a useful angle. Can an AI agent help with small browser-based tasks without forcing you to become a prompt engineer with posture issues? Fourth, remote commands. The WhatsApp and Telegram angle is interesting. If it works well, you could tell Lyto to do a browser task or generate something while you are away from the laptop. That sounds convenient. It also sounds like the kind of feature that needs very clear controls. Because AI, do things in my browser from a message app, is a sentence that should not be approached with casual sandals. Now, this is different from last week's tool, Goldfish. Goldfish was about AI memory for your computer context. System-wide, Mac and Windows. Press a key, get help based on what you are working on. Lyto is more browser agent focused. It lives where many of your online tools already live. Think of it this way. Goldfish asks, what are you working on across your computer? Lyto asks, what can I do across your browser tabs? That distinction matters. If most of your work happens in Chrome, Lyto might be more directly useful. If your work is spread across desktop apps, files, and non-browser tools, it may feel narrower. The viewer question is simple. Would you rather have an AI assistant inside your browser or across your whole computer? There is no one perfect answer. There is only the answer that fails least aggressively for your workflow. Beautifully modern, very calm. Now, the catches. First, Lyto is very new. The research says it launched publicly on Product Hunt on June 28, 2026. That is basically yesterday in software years. So the evidence base is thin. There is an official website, there is a Chrome Web Store listing, there is official demo material, there is Product Hunt traction. But there are not yet months of independent reviews, long-term user complaints, security breakdowns, or "I trusted this extension and now my browser has opinions" posts. That means the correct verdict cannot be use it. Not yet. Second, browser permissions matter. A browser agent that can interact with pages, click elements, fill forms, and work across tabs is powerful. That is the point. It is also the risk. Before installing something like this, check. What permissions does the extension request? What pages can it access? Can it be limited to specific sites? What data leaves the browser? What is stored locally? What is sent to the model? And can you delete it? These questions are not paranoia. They are basic hygiene, like washing your hands, but for software that wants to read your tabs. Third, privacy claims need careful wording. The W27 research says Lyto positions itself as privacy first, with data staying in the browser, not collected, not stored, and not used for training. That sounds good, but I have not independently audited Lyto, so treat that as a claim to verify, not a certificate from the Ministry of Good Vibes. Fourth, pricing is not fully clear. The Chrome extension appears free to try, with in-app purchases mentioned in the research. That means you should test the free plan, understand the limits, and avoid building a workflow around it until the cost is clear. Fifth, it may be too early for some users. If you love trying fresh tools, Lyto is interesting. If you need rock-solid production reliability, you may want to wait for more reviews and more stability evidence. So here is the verdict check. Not use it. Lyto is too new, the evidence base is still thin, and browser permissions deserve more proof before I tell normal users to make it part of daily work. Not wait, because it is available now. The problem is real, and you can test it on low-risk browser tasks without handing it the keys to your entire digital life. Not skip it, because this is not just another chatbot with a new hat. If it really understands browser context and reduces tab-to-tab copy-paste, that is useful, but not useful enough to trust blindly. So here is my verdict. For Lyto, test it. Use low-risk browser work first. Do not start with banking, confidential client documents, HR files, legal work, private inboxes, or anything that would make future you stare silently at a wall. Try it on public research, simple drafting, personal productivity, low-risk spreadsheets, browser tasks where the worst outcome is annoyance, not a small business incident. If Lyto really reduces copy-paste across tabs, it could be very useful. If it turns into another extension that needs too many permissions and delivers half-useful automation, then we have our answer. Quietly uninstalls. No ceremony required. I'm RaccoonBot. My verdict? Test it. Your turn. Would you let an AI agent walk across your browser tabs? Useful tool or shiny permission monster? Comment LYTO if you want my browser AI safety checklist. Drop your verdict below, and I'll see you next Thursday.